So, welcome to this session. I would like to talk to you about or present to you the 9-step survival guide to future-proof your business. And this is in specific for female entrepreneurs who want to thrive instead of survive in these times of uncertainty. So, I believe it's very important that we understand, I guess, what the current market is and how things have changed in terms of the dynamic and how we want to do business going forward. And that's one of the reasons why I actually wrote this little guide, just to help you find the direction and know the 9 steps that you can actually take. And even if you say you've been working offline, there may be now a time to actually go and do your services and bring them online, and then also do some lead generation online. And then in future, you already have that asset. Then in future, you can then do offline stuff as well, but you have created a second income stream, if you like. So that's what I teach. So the slides all in one go. So bear with me. It's a lot of information, but I'm going to start right on the bottom left-hand side. Where you see this dark triangle. Say we were there, right? And there's a time of where we're back at some sort of starting point, where we may be actually confused and overwhelmed as to what's going on in the marketplace. So and there are 3 different levels. So the 9 steps, then there are 3 steps in each level. So if you look on the left hand side, you have like the pivot phase, the build phase, and the monetization phase. So when we go through, say, step 1, okay, so or let's say what we were going to be, the result is obviously on the right top hand side. That's like the other triangle there. Let's say we actually want to be really clear. We want to have an automated lead generation and strategy in place, and that unique solution perhaps as well that we can now actually offer to the market that has slightly pivoted, right? And we want to do more sales in less time. I think everyone wants to have more sales in less time and automate some of the things and be clever about how they do business. And I think this is a good time now to shift and to undertake some of these these adjustments. Okay, so adjustment number 1 is your step 1. So it's and even I done this, although I've been running my business for a long time. I've actually stepped back and I did another roadmap to say, okay, what is really my purpose right now? And this is why I've come up with the future proof your business. And I think this can be done within like 6 weeks, or if you want to do 9 weeks and do 1 step at a time and work on that. But you create your own roadmap, right? So what's your purpose? What's your focus? How has that shifted from before? And how is it going to be going forward? How is that going to look going forward? Step 2, I think a lot of things, obviously, when we're watching the news right now, it's really terrible. We should actually kind of step away from that, and it's almost like creating ourselves a little bit of a bubble, not in a bad way. Of course, we still want to know and help, want to know what's happening and help wherever we can, but as in like our focus and our path to actually serve the world and do the best that we can do is actually to form some really good habits. And the habits are, for me, when I am confused, it's about it's about journaling, it's about meditation, it's about just maybe sitting in the garden and just have a quiet time and get myself, or have a day off and just think about what is it, and get those ideas coming into your head. So it's really important to have some solid mindset foundations in place, like different habits that you want to do every single day to keep you going, because business and strategy is not just about doing things. It's also a lot about energy and how you're showing up every day, what you believe about yourself, your business, and what you believe about your potential clients. The step number 3, it's about looking at your customer avatar again and perhaps pivoting some of those things. Like, you may have already done some sort of customer profiling in the past. If not, then obviously this is a great time to do that and think about who are your ideal customers. What are they going through right now? What are their questions? What are their challenges? and map that all out, because that will flow into step 4, which is actually your core message. So you want to create a powerful message when you come networking or you do a Facebook Live. You want to actually have some sort of sentence that says what you really do, right? So I would say I am a business growth strategist, and I work with women who want to future-proof their business in 6 weeks or less, so that they can make more money and are working less time. Okay, something like this. So it's very clear as to what is it that you do. And then step 5 is about future-proofing your signature solution. And a lot of people actually don't have something like this in place where they can say, this is my method, this is what I teach, and has my stamp on it. So this is like, for example, these 9 steps is like my signature solution. It's my step, it's my roadmap that I teach and I take my clients through. So, is that something that you may want to create, some sort of steps that you can show your clients exactly how you take them from A to B? Because that's really what's going to make you stand out from the market, because people don't really have that. And especially when it comes to therapies or some sort of, I guess, services that may not be very tangible, it's really, really helpful to have a map like this. And then step 5, it's about creating the digital assets. So now is the time to obviously, think about, how do I want to run my business? How much capacity do I really have to do one-to-one clients? Do I want to keep the one-to-one clients? Do I want to rank those up, or do I want to leverage and perhaps create some other programs, some group programs where I can leverage my time and where I can actually maybe bring some clients together under one roof? So there's different opportunities. And then how do you go about actually creating those assets without having to do videos for about 3 months, which I have done. When I started off, I did like 3 months of videos and then nobody bought the thing. So now I'm always saying, hey, when you do something, then just get people in already. Just have the bullet points as to what you're going to teach, then go and teach it and record it along the way. And then this is how you create your assets in terms of the delivery. But then, of course, you may want to have assets as to, how do I generate leads, right? Do you have any landing pages? Do you want to build an email list? What social media are you using? So there's a whole range of assets that you might want to think about, then conclude your whole sales process. If you don't have that, obviously right now is a good time just to map out what is it that you have, what would you like to create in the future, and see where the gaps are. And then step 7 is all about, now I've got everything in place. Let's launch the thing, right? Let's implement everything. Let's see whether it works, whether the message resonates with the customers, whether the solution that I'm presenting is converting, and you start that wheel rolling, and you are continuously showing up. And then, of course, step 8 is about keep on nurturing your audience, your people, because they're not going to buy perhaps first time. It's almost like you're going to ask someone to marry you on day one. It might not happen, right? So it's about strategy to continuously follow up. And this is where a lot of people actually fall down, because they're not following up, they're not showing up continuously and not consistently. And that means they may leave money on the table. They may not convert those clients or those people that showed an interest, and then they become. And of course, step 9, once you know, well, this is all working like a machine in the background, then you can think about scaling. Then you can think about, okay, do I want to run some Facebook ads, or do I want to spend all my time, posting on social media? That's not always, yes, that can drive you crazy, right? So sometimes there's things you want to do, but only once you have tested the whole system. So on those results, once you're there, it can take you quite a while to get all of these things working in the background. But this is the how you can future-proof your business, and how you can, really make sure that you have the right offering for the right clients at the right time, especially because we're in this current situation and when we come out of this situation. So hopefully that was useful. I'm gonna stop here, and if you have any questions, let me know. It's me done. So feel free to unmute if you have any questions about each of the steps. Obviously, this is my signature solution, and on the back end is myself and Helen's. And Emma, I don't think Emma is here. Emma was here last week. Myself and Emma, we've actually created this 6-week boot camp because we want to, you know, bring that to life, and we want to teach those steps to people if they don't know how to do that themselves, right? And this is a great way just to think about your business and your business model and how to actually potentially bring a program to life. Hi, Helen. Good. Which are the steps that you think, so I'm going to just ask you a question if you're not asking a question. Which are the steps where you think, yeah, I need to do something about it? You can unmute or just type it.
I can offer some feedback, Sabine.
Okay, go ahead.
First of all, I love it. You are a mistress, master, goddess. We'll go with that. You are a goddess of PowerPoint.
Oh, this was made in Canva, and then I moved it into PowerPoint. So
still, Canva. If I'm going over there, I'm making multiple things, and then 4 hours later, I don't have something like that. So that's beautiful, and it's really clear how it takes you through the path of that. It's also clear. I think the reason people probably don't have questions right now is because there's a lot of information in there. So it's like, okay, like I was already thinking, oh, okay, so that really clarifies like the steps where to go. And then I was like, I need to have Sabine actually walk me through that. And then I was onto a whole other thought process. So I think that we all know that it's packed with information with what that is setting up for you, and you couldn't pick a better person to deliver that. So I think it looks great.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, this was my own. I mean, I made those mistakes when I started my business because I was like, first and foremost, I thought I needed a website. Before, I don't have a website, I don't have a business. I need a logo and a brand. Oh, and it's all that. You don't need any of that. We don't need any of that. You don't need to do videos already and have that in a membership site before you can go and deliver and get some paying customers, right? So I completely, you know, was messed up when I started. So this is why I thought, right, you know what, put these steps in place, right? If you do this in this order, you're not going to be like, oh my gosh, I should be doing a landing page, I don't have a freebie. No, you actually thought about that freebie one step before that, because you thought about your core message and your signature solution, and your freebie is a part of your signature solution. It's one hot part that people really love, like, or they really need right now. So one step maybe out of the 9 steps that you create, you can give away for free, or like a checklist, right? So everything's kind of really in that order, in that step, and it gives you the clarity and releases you from that overwhelm. It's like, what about this? What about that, right?
I love that you put it in a document where it's the 9 steps, and it's very clear. Like you have a way every time you give something away to people and you give value, you have a way of giving value that's, you're not giving everything away, but you are giving everything away, but you're really just illuminating to the overarching thing that you are capable of doing, which is always, it's always inspiring to watch you do that, because you're just really good at going, this is the bigger picture. These are the itemized steps, and I can walk you through that if you want help with that. And so you get a really valuable piece of information and just value in general, without you spending a lot of time for free with people, but you still are offering something. So I just think that's great.
Thank you, Kristina. And you know, and I think this is something for everybody, in terms of everyone might think, okay, what do I offer as a free giveaway, and how much is giving too much for free, right? And I would say, you know, I can tell you all this stuff, but the thing is, are you going to go and implement it? And once you are implementing it, yeah, you might do. Once you implement it, do you need feedback, or do you need some hand holding, or, oh, there's a technology issue and I don't know which software to use, you know? And that's when people are deciding to potentially, you know, get some services with you, right? This is what you need to do. You need to go and share that stuff, that great stuff that you're doing, and don't hold back, as in, like, you know, what, because the real value comes in when you are working with someone, right? Like one of my clients, we had a really great session on Monday. She came and she said, well, I'm really, really overwhelmed and I'm really fed up with the whole situation, virus. I'm doing so many free things, and I just can't get those people to come and pay for the service, because why do I all do this free stuff? And I said, okay, let's depict this. So we almost peeled all the onion, the whole onion, and put it all up together again in the right order. And then after an hour, she's like, oh, now much clearer. Now I know I don't need to do all these videos, and now I know what my freebie is going to be, and I have to do this first and that first, right? That's where that value comes in, and that's where people will pay to actually have that service. So just remember that. And here we go with Emma. You just missed my introduction to the 9 steps survival guide, because Emma in the program teaches that step 2, which is all about habits. Maybe in 3-4 sentences, Emma, and I'm going to just really put you on the spot, you can say what that is, because I for my, obviously I said it how I thought, you know, what you would be teaching, but you can do it much better.
Oh, so if I come out with something completely different to what you've just said now.
Shall I share the PowerPoint slide again, so just to remind you?
Sorry,
Mindset foundations.
It's crazy. I've just shoved my lunch into me, and so I'm here, and then I've got to dash off again to do an interview, so it's just mad.
No
yes,
worries.
let's have a look.
Mindset foundations. Oh, okay, I'll share it again with you. Sorry. There we go. You see that?
Yeah.
Step 2.
I'm going to be going through the power of the mind, because we are not taught how powerful we are. We are not taught how to use our minds. We're not taught how we are programmed from a very young age, and how we pick up limiting beliefs about us and our abilities to succeed. So that's the first part. I'm going to go through the, you know, how you can actually make your mind your friend rather than your enemy, and not in the sense that it's trying to it's trying to make your life bad, but your mind only has one job: to keep you alive. And so it will do what it can to stop you from stepping outside of your comfort zone, because it doesn't feel safe. So that's kind of like the foundation of what I'm going to be teaching, that how to get around the tricks that your mind does to keep you from just supercharging, excelling, skyrocketing your success in any area of life. I'm going to be doing a deep dive into money mindset, because our beliefs about money, what we're worth, how we attract money, how we keep hold of money, and how we use money are formed when we're very young as well. And I'm going to be sharing some techniques of how to sidestep anxiety and overwhelm, because an anxious mind is not looking for success and opportunity. An anxious mind is looking to hunker down and stay very much within the comfort zone, safe, stable, one might say a little boring, because it has to, you know, it has to protect us at all costs. So those are the main things that I'm going to be going through. So how to stop sabotaging your success. And once you know how to do that, once you're aware, you can't go back. You can't go back to thinking the same way, being the same way, behaving the same way, because thoughts equal emotions. Emotions make your actions, and your actions give you your results. So start with the thought process. and change that chain reaction so that your results are different. And that is what I'm going to be doing. Hope that's similar to what you said.
Yeah. Well, I didn't say it in that depth, but that's great. Thank you. And yeah, I mean, if it's something that you might be interested, there's a page here which we put together, or you can reach out to us directly and see whether this may be of interest. It's called Future Proof Your Biz, bootcamp.gra.com. I'll share that with you as well. So that's it from us. I'd like to hand over to Fiona, because I know, Fiona, you need to leave a bit earlier today. So off you go.
Okay, right. And I'm just checking the clock to see how long, so I don't go over my time. So I'll give you about 10 minutes.
Are there any questions with regards to part 1 before we move to the next one? Hi, Sharon. See you now. Before we move on, or any comments? So we're good with Fiona's good. All right.
Okay, so what I was going to share with you today is very similar to what it follows on very much from what you're talking about, really. I work with energy. I've been doing that since 91, when I trained as a kinesiologist. So that's why I call myself a Zenergizer, because I brought all of my skills from all sorts of different practices into my Zenergie pot. So what I want to share with you today, very, very quickly, is how you can get from, it's literally the ABC, to reconnecting to your Zenergie, because we know, as you were saying also, Emma, that it is our mind that stops us. And there's so much fear, so much anxiety, and everyone, I call this the committee up here, and it's the committee having a constant conference about all the things that you can't do, and what all the rubbish that's just collected up here, and it just does not stop. So what I wanted you to do is to literally bring yourselves into a nice comfortable position, which I hope you're in. Just close your eyes, because then we can just take that focus inwards rather than having that focus outwards. And the A of the ABC is literally awareness. And I'd like you now just to scan your body, because the first place that we need to be aware of what's going on is in our body. Because what is happening here? Have you got any tension? Is there any tightness? So just be aware of anything that is happening there. And you can even gauge that on a 1 to 10. So if you're feeling that, that problem or that tension that you have in your body is actually representing what else is going on in your life. The first place we feel anything before we attach a thought is in our physical body. So if we have this ability just to tune in, first of all, where is that tension? That tension, that pain, that tightness, whatever it is there to give us a message. And so often we disconnect from those feelings in our body as to what they're actually telling us. So it's having that connection again. And what I'd like you to do right now is also just to feel into your feet. How do your feet feel? Do they feel as if they're sort of connected to the ground, or they're feeling a little bit wobbly, or maybe you're sort of on one side of the foot, or one foot more so than the other? And then what I'd like you to do is just imagine you've got this beautiful big root that's coming down from the center of your foot. And it's going all the way deep down into Mother Earth. So it's really connecting you to feeling grounded, feeling safe and secure, no matter what storms are blowing around you. You cannot control that necessarily, but we do have the ability to control what is going on within us. So just imagine that lovely big root just connecting you to the earth. And then you've got smaller roots that are coming down from your toes, from the balls of your foot, from the heel of your foot, so that your feet feel secure, feeling balanced from all points. And then I'd like you to go into B. So B is just being aware of your breath. So often when we're stressed, what happens is we tend to breathe from the upper part of our chest. We take those short, sharp breaths. Or maybe we hold our breath and then suddenly take a big gasp. So have an awareness now of your breath. And then I'd like you to start breathing in from the base of your stomach. So you're going to breathe in for the count of 5. And as you do this, just rest your tongue towards the back of your throat. And as you breathe out, let it go for 10. And just continue to do that for a couple of breaths. And the reason why we're connecting our tongue towards the back of our throat is because we're then connecting into the vagus nerve, which is one of the longest nerves that comes down from the back of our brain, and it comes through all of our major organs all the way down to the bladder. And as we're doing this, we are literally giving ourselves and all our organs permission to let go of any of that adrenaline, that cortisol that might have been sort of connecting us to that fight and flight. And it's allowing us to reconnect or to allow the parasympathetic system to come into play. So we're letting go of cortisol as we're breathing out, letting go of any adrenaline, and we're allowing more of the happy hormones, the serotonin, to come into the body. This is just such an easy way to calm ourselves down. And just take a couple more breaths. So you're breathing in for 5. And letting go for 10. So we're just activating that parasympathetic nervous system, giving those different messages to all of our internal organs, which also helps then in calming down our digestive system and everything else. And then when you're ready, and hopefully now you're just starting to feel that your body's sinking a little deeper into your chair. Your mind is focusing on your breath, so it's not focusing on anything else other than how you are breathing. And then we have the C. So the C is for changing our state. Now, I always say changing our state, it can be so many different ways, but I'm going to share with you one way today. It could be, for example, you could do some meditation. You could take yourself out into nature. You could do put some music on. You could do all sorts of different types of meditation, or you can just continue to do a different type of breathing just to bring you back into the state. But what I want to share with you today is how you can just do some tapping. If any of you know anything about the tapping, the EFT, I just do a different way of doing it. It might be different to what you're used to. And I just want you to focus back in to how you are feeling. If you're thinking about something at work or thinking about what is going on around you and you're feeling a little bit anxious about it, just go back into that awareness. How do you feel that in your physical body again? Do you feel that you start clenching your hands? Maybe you're not aware of it, or your jaw. Maybe you feel it in your stomach or your solar plexus. Maybe your shoulders start to rise. Or you feel it in your neck or your back, or maybe it's somewhere else. And just gauge that on a 1 to 10. 10 being really yucky, 1 being feeling calm, confident, relaxed. And I'd like you just to start tapping at the beginning of the eyebrow. We're going to do this very, very simply. And all you're going to do is just repeat after me and just say, I release and let go of all this anxiety.
I release and let go of all this anxiety.
And everything it's representing.
And everything it's representing.
And if there's anything that you feel, any words, any emotions, any feelings that are coming up for you, then please incorporate those. Make it personal to you. Coming to the end of the eyebrow, I release and let go of any judgments that I have about myself. And maybe judgments that others have about me. And also maybe the way that I'm actually judging others. Under the eye, so right down onto the bone. I release and let go of all the emotions that I'm feeling inside of my body that are representing this feeling. And then we're just going to come down with the palm of the hand onto the chest, underneath the collarbone. I release and let go of feeling hopeless or helpless. That I have actually no control in what's going on at the moment. All the worries, feeling unsupported, and everything else that I am actually creating within myself. Remembering to breathe at the same time. Then you're going to go to the top of the head, right on top of the crown. It's safe for me to let go of all these thoughts that are representing what is going on at the moment. And it's safe for me to let it all go right now. Beginning of the eyebrow. I'm choosing to see things in a different way. I'm choosing to find solutions. End of the eyebrow. So I willingly release and let go of anything and everything that stands in my way to feeling peaceful, confident, knowing that everything works out for me. Under the eye. I feel, and just add in yourself, what is it you want to feel right here, right now? I feel. Down onto the chest. I am. I feel. Just one more. What is it you want to feel? And I am safe right here, right now. Take a deep breath in. Hold on to your wrist and just blow it out. And say peace. And then I'd like you just to quickly jump into a place where you feel at peace, wherever that might be for you right now. And I'd like you to think about bringing that feeling up from the soles of your feet, as if you're coming up through those roots into the soles of your feet, all the way up through your ankles, your calves, your knees, your thighs, through your torso, into your heart, and up through, in your neck, through your throat, and up out through the crown. So you've got this beautiful shower that you're coming over you, as if you're encapsulated in this beautiful egg of energy, of confidence, of peace, of love, of joy, of whatever it is that you desire right now, knowing that you can come back to this place at any time. And just take another deep breath in. And let it go. And when you're ready, just connect to your feet again, just bringing yourselves back into this room, opening your eyes, knowing that you can come back into this, so awareness, breathing, and then just changing your state at any time you need. And I know I went over my 10 minutes to being...
That's awesome. Having
Sorry.
come back. Yeah. I don't know about the others. How are you guys feeling?
You can go back and just check on that scale. Go back into, because our physical body is the first place. When we have that feeling, we have a feeling before we even attach the thought to it. And once we attach a thought to the feeling, we then attach a memory. So then we go back into all the things that have brought us to this place of fear, whatever it is. So always think about the awareness. Where do you feel that? What is going on in your physical body? And then you can move on from there.
So wonderful, Fiona. I'm going to actually listen to this recording and go back to this exercise. Good. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So Sharon says, loved it. Thanks. Noreen as well.
Okay.
Happy to have you, Sharon. Yes. Anyone Any questions for Fiona before we move on?
No. I just have a little question, Fiona.
Yes.
Over the last week, since last week I was on, I got bitten by a bug on my leg. And I suppose I'm going very deep inside now. And I suppose the self-love has come up and what is irritating me in my body. And I suppose what's come up for me is my family. And I suppose I have shifted away from them. Yeah. And now through the pandemic, it's kind of like, oh my God, I can see how the shift was really hard for me to move because there's no core values and there's no self-love either there. And I suppose that's what I have been working on an awful lot in the last, few years on myself. And I suppose the bug has bit me just to kind of make me present and kind of biting me away going, Noreen, you've shifted from that to this. Do not go back there. So it's kind of like, so I'm torn. There's like a thread going, oh, I need to go there and mind, my elderly parents. But no, it's my responsibility, my core value to mind myself, to self-love. And so I'm not being selfish. And there was a big difference. So I think the bug is leaving slowly, but also it's making me present on, what? Also, I was a little bit afraid of the future, just a little bit on the leg, on the side of the leg. And it's just like stopping me on my tracks now to listen to nature and to listen to what I have around me. So that was really beautiful to just come back into that energy of kind of going,
that's brilliant.
So that awareness. Yeah. So yeah,
it is the awareness. And just to give you something there, if you're saying that's on the side of your leg, that's that could be on the gallbladder meridian. And gallbladder meridian comes down the side, okay? So gallbladder is all to do with anger, rage, wrath. So
yes, and I can see that coming up with them is like going, they have no responsibilities, they have no core values. And as you said, like that judging. So I'm not judging them. It's their responsibility, not mine. So I'm handing it over. So, but that came racing up, and that's why I think the bug came into me. He's kind of like going.
Right. Just giving you a little message, and that's why all these things are. But I would actually look at and tap this point again, gallbladder meridian, see what else is coming up in that spot. And quite often, I'll be very quick, is to go back into, maybe take a little camera down there to that spot. What does it need you to know? What else does it need you to know? What feeling, what sight, what are you feeling, what are you hearing, etc., etc. Go into those feelings.
Okay, great, thank you.
Hi, can I just add something for Noreen? There's with your leg, is it your left leg?
Yes, it is, yes.
Okay, because what I got was that you can say daily in the mornings when you get up, you can put your hands on your leg and then say, I love my life. I love the way I'm moving forward. I am in gratitude of my life. But affirm that you love your life, because that's what I got for you now.
Yes.
So just sharing with you.
Thank you. Thank you. That's lovely. Yeah.
And Maddie, you had your hand up.
You want to let me? Yeah. Thanks.
Hi, thank you. I just want to say that was absolutely beautiful, and I've been feeling anxiety to the point where the physical symptoms were making me doubt whether I should be moving forward in certain projects, and I'm very much aware of the self-sabotage linked to that. But what I wanted to ask Fiona was, how often do you suggest we repeat when I've done tapping before, if I've gauged between my 0 and 10, I've gone back, say it was a 7, I went down to, and I tried again. Do you recommend that we do that or exercise or over again while our symptoms?
Do it over and over again. I mean, obviously, if I'm working on a one-to-one, we would get down to what is that anxiety? Where is it actually coming from? But for now, even if you just tap these points, and if you go into the awareness, first of all, get into that awareness of what's going on within your physical body, and then find out, just go on a journey. I mean, just explore, and then step into, how do you want to be? What do you want to feel instead? What difference would that make to your life? So you're looking forwards. We don't have to keep looking back. But if you feel that something is looking there, it's still sort of like, oh God, it's still there, just let it go. You can just do it. I mean, I just do it. Let it go. Everything it's representing, okay, let it go, let it go, let it go. Everything I'm creating, because we are the creators, let it go. Okay, you can do it really quickly, and the more you do it, the body will just say, okay, fine. Then step into your future self. Step into where you want to be. What do you want to feel? What do you want to hear? What do you want to, how do you want to walk? All those different things. Okay, does that help?
Yeah, it does. I was just feeling very much vulnerable, and I've never asked for help before, and I feel this is what's coming up for me. I'm reaching out to people, or people are showing up that I'm thinking, should I ask, shouldn't I? And so it's a big deal for me to say, hey, I need some help. You know.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I could give you a lot more, but I'm aware of the time here. But listen to what your body's saying, okay? Because our body is telling us stuff, and we are so disconnected from what the messages are, generally speaking.
Sabina said she was going to listen back to this recording. Do we get the opportunity to listen to that script as well to do the exercise? I'm not sure. Do we?
I will send it. I will send everything out.
That's very kind. Thank you.
Absolutely. And Maddie, thank you for asking and being vulnerable. This is why I've created this
Good.
group. This is my mission accomplished, because there are no stupid questions or, you know, having to shy away from not saying how you're feeling, right? I mean, if you're happy, I mean, maybe this recording is going to go now out to people, but I think we're all, I guess, in the same sort of protective. We're not going to cheer out to the outside.
Yeah, I've been finding I've been avoiding negative people instead of helping them. That would be my natural thing. Do you know what I mean? I've been avoiding stuff.
Well, I'm avoiding negative people too. I don't. It's a thing, isn't it? About well, it's about our energy. It's how we go about things, right? I kind of block it out, and if there are negative people,
self-care, self-preservation.
I don't try to convince them otherwise. I'd rather protect my own energy, you know. So yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing to do, because you're positive. And I think Sharon Nelson and I, we spoke during the weekend. She said, you know, she knows this group is like a high vibe group, and she also avoids those people that are not so high vibe, and those are probably the ones that you feel are negative. But you want to connect with the high vibe people that have that bigger vision and are open to things like this. I don't think everyone will be open to sit here and tap. And you know what I mean? I've been in other networking groups that are like corporate kind of people. It would be just, Fiona would be shot down. But this is wonderful. I love it. I love the mix of people in here. I love the interaction. So thank you.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Fiona,
Yeah.
so I'm basically housebound. I'm extremely ill, and my house can't be cured. There's no cure for what I have. And doing the tapping, where you're saying starting with your feet, my main problem is my feet. So when I was doing that, it actually enraged more of the feeling of knives being shoved through my legs.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
what would you suggest to try instead of that? Because when I did it, I could just feel the burning of my illness intensifying, if that makes sense.
And you may find that because with the tapping, it's going to bring out stuff, and the legs, that is root chakra.
Yes.
The root chakra is all about feeling safe, feeling unsafe, not feeling supported, and that's what so many people are recognizing right now. So it may, and this is what happens with the tapping, and what I've done, and I'd say please drink some water, because flush those things down. I would just say to you, just go with your gut feeling, go with what you feel feels okay. And if you feel right now that that's not where you want to go, then just take it one small step at a time and just tap. But really what we're doing there is it will heighten senses of things that are there already. But what it will do when you do the tapping, it will then let it go. Because what you're doing is you're rebalancing your energy system in whichever way you're doing it. Okay?
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, I'm more than happy if you want to contact me and have just have a chat with me. I'm more than happy to do that. Come and jump on phone call with me, and I can talk with you more about that.
Great.
But the tapping will bring out stuff, whether it's emotional, because we've kept everything in. I do tapping in a very different way to a lot of people, the way they do it. But I can honestly say to you, I'm actually just going on a session to teach some kids, which is just magical. Because I just think if we can teach our young ones from an early age, my God, what a gift. Yeah. So there's so many different ways that you can do this. But what I would say is you go with your intuition. But this is, you are looking at root chakra, those senses of unsafe. So when you feel that you're feeling a little bit more secure in yourself, you'll probably find that that pain will just dissipate on its own. So go into how you're feeling in yourself. Does that help a little bit?
No, definitely. And I'll definitely contact you.
Just contact me, Angie, and I'm more than happy to jump on a call and just have a word with you. Really am.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, Sabine, I didn't expect.
No, that's perfect.
To take all the time.
Ladies, just you know, drop your information into the chat box. If you want to chat with each other, connect with each other, just do that, please. Let us know what you do in the chat if we don't have the time today to open up to everyone. So we have 90 minutes. So today I actually planned for 90 minutes. So we're still good. So Fiona, if you have to go.
Yeah, I'm really sorry to go, but I'll catch up with you all. But if you want to have a chat, then I'm more than happy, you know.
Just drop a link or something in the chat, and then people can.
Yeah. Let me just do you on my email, and then you can just email me.
Okay, perfect.
Right, because I'm not going to give you the wrong one. Oh my God.
Sabine, do you mind if I go next?
Yeah, is that okay, Kerstin? Yeah, so we have Kristina and then Kerstin.
Yeah, exactly. If Kristina runs over or we're running out of time, I'm happy to do it the next week. So, because I know the 90 minutes, I'm completely open.
The session is 90 minutes. For those that have to go earlier, we will have a recording. I'm good either way. So good.
Okay, I'm going to kind of go off of where Fiona left off, because I think that was a really good heart opening space. So I'm going to have everybody close their eyes. Take a deep, deep breath. Two more deep breaths. Last one. And since we weren't there too long ago, I want you to go back to your roots. If it's more comfortable, you can lay down and have your roots come out of your spine. I want them to go down into the floor. If you're on a second story, have it go down the walls into the foundation of the base floor, through the base floor and into the soil, to the ground, a foot into the ground, 2 feet into the ground, 7 feet into the ground, 200 feet into the ground, deep into earth. As women, we're deeply connected to our intuition. We're deeply connected to each other and to humanity. I want you to take all the nutrients you feel in yourself, the love for humanity, the love for you, the love for others, and push that down into the root system. to nourish your brothers and sisters that are interwoven and interconnected with your roots. The sisters that are here on this call, send them your nutrients. Nourish their root system. Feel yourself giving to them. Now take a deep breath. And as you breathe in and breathe out, get more solid in that root system. You can feel the interconnection of the whole deep underground holding each other up. And as you take your next breath in, feel the nutrients that are flowing back into you from that root system, from your brothers and sisters. Feel them feed you and love you and nurture you and nourish you deeply into the cells of your body. Another breath in, another drink of nutrients. Breathe in, breathe out. No fear, no doubt. This root system is always here, ready to feed you, ready to nurture you. I am me and I am you. We are us. And together we are one. Sometimes we forget that as humans. It's not necessary. It's not necessary to do it all on your own, to be independent. We are here for each other. And as much as you give, someone is waiting for you to receive their gifts, their love. Slowly come back to awareness of the space around you. Slowly open your eyes. Feel into your body. Feel all those yummy nutrients in your soul. Having fed each other, having received, having given. I was going to share so much more with you guys, but I just wanted to go off of where Fiona left, and I wanted to do that with you guys also before she started that, but it was just so perfect. Oh, this is great. I love the root system, and I am an ontological coach. I coach people in their beingness. I don't typically do meditations with them necessarily unless the moment calls for it. I usually do it in workshops to connect each other. And we explore beliefs and intentions and how those things impact their actions. And then through those things, we find liberation. I had a very traumatic childhood. And when I was a teenager and a young adult, I was very, very, very angry and filled with rage. And so I find that the topic of liberation fascinating because I'm at a place in my life, those things don't control me anymore. And I can tap into that root system where I feel very connected to other people at the drop of a dime. It doesn't matter what's happening in the world. It doesn't matter what the news says. It doesn't matter how angry someone is. I'm sturdy enough and resilient enough in myself now that I can always come back to that, stand my sacred ground, and then take action based on where I need to be. And it used to be that I would cover those things with gratitude and joy. And it's not, that's not sustainable either. So the four steps that have worked for me, that I wanted to share with you all, is gratitude, being grateful for what you have in the most minute of things can be amazing. Some of the most atrocious things in our history, people that made it through, that were able to resume a healthy life, had gratitude. They found gratitude in these atrocities. The sun hits your face, or you interact with a wild animal, or you get a discount on something you didn't expect. So gratitude is huge, and doing it every day and in every moment, especially when you're in something that is really awful. When the woman was talking about her legs, you can find gratitude in pain. And it doesn't seem like it at the time, but there's nuggets there of gratitude. And the biggest teacher in my life has been anger. And anger is painful and it's burning, but it's also a fire, that the other side of that is deep, deep love. And the second one is awareness. And Fiona talked about that too. When you're able to be present with where you are, it's acceptance, it's self-acceptance, it's being here now. And then getting curious. So rather than noticing where you are and then judging it, just going, that's interesting. What is that? That's interesting. Constantly changing judgment to curiosity. How can I be curious about this? How can I be the observer of myself? And the last one's play. If you don't have play, it kills the whole thing. You have to have play, and you have to have things that give you that belly laugh, or just are kind of ridiculous. And for me, it was improv. So gratitude, awareness, curiosity, and play. And those things, when you can incorporate those 4 things, you can have liberation. And then no matter what happens in your life, if you can tap into the combination of those 4 things, you can do anything. And so my company is Empowered Human, and my goal in my life, whether my life is a year long from now or 50 years from now that it ends, my whole mission and my whole purpose is to create as many spaces and as many containers for deep love, profound connection, and divine humanity. And from that, to build a new version of courageous leaders that are willing to speak truth to bullshit, that are willing to stand for love, that are willing to furiously stand for their fellow humanity, and to take responsibility for their impact. Because I think so often we think leadership means looking like you have it all together and you never fall down. That's not true. We fall down. We're human beings. We make mistakes. Things happen. And if you look at the people that have impacted you the most, I guarantee you that you saw their weaknesses. I guarantee you that you saw their vulnerability and you went, wow, and they stood up anyway. Wow, that's incredible. Because that's real leadership. And we have a lack of that in our civilization, in our culture. So I think everyone is a leader, and I think everyone is capable of standing in that place. And I think when we can have liberation within ourselves and then stand for deep love, fiercely stand for deep love for ourselves and for each other, and still talk truth to bullshit, then we can create a whole new world. So those were the things I wanted to share with you guys. Ladies.
Well, does anyone have any questions for Kristina?
I'm just going to grab a pen because I'd like to write those down.
I made 4 things here: gratitude, awareness, curiosity, and play. Yeah. And she says it's awesome. I totally agree with you. Yeah, I like the fact that you just said leaders also fall down and you don't have to think like pretend you always have it all together. I'm glad you said that. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Sharon. Joe had to go. That's great. Well, we can, I mean, Kerstin, if you want to do it next week, that's fine as well. How does it fit? How does that fit with you? Sorry.
Now we did the same with the for me, it doesn't matter. I can do it today. I can do it next week. It's really how does everyone feel? Are we in a space with all the meditation and just the great grounding where we say, I kind of like want to carry this, or no, now I'm ready to hear something more, because what I'm going to be talking about is it's kind of it continues that, but it's a little bit more practical, and definitely will get the energy back up. Will be less subdued and quiet.
Well, yeah, if you want to do that as a good ending, and then we go out of this session full of energy. Should we do that?
You can, for sure.
Yeah.
Everyone okay? Show me the thumbs up. Everything's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. Okay, cool. All right. So I'm an expert on personal growth for success in life and business. So I'm basically taking the experience of success to the very beginning, meaning to the person, to the personal story, because that is very often where we find the roots for our success, but also the journey, which means the blind spots, the obstacles, the challenges, everything that we encounter on our cycles through life. And these challenges, they're actually being captured in our original birth certificate, and that is, I have to preface this though a little bit. The tools that I'm working with is, I work with natal astrology, I work with numerology and tarot, in addition to leadership processes, modern leadership processes. And so I created a system, a method, combining it. And so when I work with people on their business success, I lead them back to their personal growth, showing them within these systems where kind of like where their blind spots are located. So I just have to say that so that you guys are all clear what I'm going to be about to say, what journey I'm going to be taking you guys on. So it's basically, I showcase the duality between the personal growth and the business success. And to show you this, I'm going to share my screen. Let me see if I can. Microsoft PowerPoint. Let's see how we can. Okay. And let me see if I can make this. Okay. Do you guys see here? Everything's fine? Very cool. Okay. So basically, we often find ourselves to go for success in our business, in our professional lives, and very often we're pushing things and forgetting about ourselves, which means we forget about us as a person and how our story fits in our success journey, in our professional success journey. And so when I see, here we go. When I work with folks, I like to look into their natal astrology chart, and I'm using astrology not in the normal sense. So I basically look at it not area by area, because we have 12 areas there. I'm combining them in a cycle of growth, because these are exactly the steps that we are going through. Whatever we wanted to grow, it's just a system. It's a cycle of growth that happens whether you look in nature, you look in a technology project, in our own personal development. Wherever you look, any system functions the same way. It starts and it ends, and the steps in between. That's exactly what is captured in the cycle of evolution. As it is showcased, for example, in the astrology for our own profile, let's say. The process is captured in the tarot. Don't want to go there today. I'm just going to stick with the profile, with our natal profile in astrology. Not to go into the astrology teaching. I just really want to go step by step and showcase where you can find the blind spots and how they relate to each other, so that you may understand if you're in your business and you really, oh my God, I'm running into the same problems over and over and over again. Is the cause really in your business, in the business process, or is it actually deep within you? And is it something within you that you haven't solved yet to grow? For example, I show this to you. I'm not sure if you see my mouse moving here, but this astrology chart that you see here, that's mine. That is my natal birth chart, right? So as you can see, we have the third house. It's the bottom to the left. There's a lot going on. This is the area of communication, right? I'm not going to go into the details what this all means. I just give you the gist of it. My challenge with communication is that I think too complex, that I'm very fast, that before I finish a sentence, my thought is already in the next thing. And so I struggle really to communicate a complex situation or a complex system in very easy ways. So now I know that, and I find the same obstacle, the same challenge in my business as well. Because when I start wanting to communicate what I do or what I'm working on, I get into a frenzy of, oh my God, and there's more, and there's more, and there's more. So I constantly have to go back here and look at what are the challenges and how can I solve them, because there are placements within the system where I can look how I can find the solution that is particular to me, not to any other coach, to any other perception, to anything else, but to me. And so I can find the solution for me, how to best solve this to be able to move on. And since it's a cycle, I lead my clients every year through a new cycle of development in their business, through personal development, through leveling them up in their personal development to release one thing after the other, one struggle after the other, to actually excel in the business, to have the business grow. Currently, we are in April, and oh, I forgot about this slide. Here you can see actually really the duality of the personal growth to the business growth. So everything that is pink, what is here in the inside cycle, these are the area of growth that we have in our personal development. And everything that's on the outside, the blue, that's actually a growth cycle of a business. That's how we come up with an idea, we install it, we talk about the process and how to develop it, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to go into the details on that as well, because that is what I'm teaching in my workshops. But for the duality, how you can see this, and what I started before, right now we're in April, and as I take my clients through a yearly journey of development, we are currently in the fourth area with April, which has to do with our home, with our foundation, with our environment on a personal level, where we develop, where we manifest what we actually really want to bring out in the world. And that in our business is really where we make that what we want to develop a home. So it's the home office, or really what you develop, give it a place so that it becomes a real thing. That's where we are right now. So we're working through the very foundation. So if you have in your business, that's what you want to make sure. This is the time to make sure you have the foundation right. Everything And this is not just, oh, my business is established since so many years. What's the thing that you're working on to actually grow and expand? Because that's the next thing, that you want to give it a home within the business. You want to create a home that is healthy, that is available, or that's empowering to thrive, so that you can move on and move forward into the next areas of growth. And so by thinking of the foundation, what do I create, what foundation do I create for the thing that I want to move on with, that I want to put out into the world, you want to at the same time think, what is the authority, what is the success that I want to live with in that moment, and that we can find here the duality. If I have the foundation, if I give it a place, then I want to think about what is the highest honor that I want to achieve with that? What is the success that I want to achieve with it? Because if you compare the two, they belong to each other. And if you find then the areas that would excel that duality, bringing it into a success code where you know exactly, okay, in order to do this, I have to figure out how for me, for example, where do I find the connections that I communicate that what I want to bring to the people, not only correctly, but so that I overcome at the same time an obstacle that is in my way, so that others understand better what I actually bring to their life that enables them to be successful. So it's really a cycle, and that's kind of what I want to encourage you at this point, since we are in April still, and since we are dealing with a crisis, to really think about what is it that is that needs to find a place, whether it's in your heart or whether it's in your business, that would create a success for you, that would build you up as the authority. It's the 4 steps. There are obviously steps that come before that, and there are steps that come afterwards. And I love that we talked about play, because in the 5th month, in May, we're moving into the creative area, and that's the area then where we playfully explore what we want to bring to the people can actually really bring better results for others, but also for our happiness. And so with that, I'm gonna, do I have another one? No. Oh yeah, that's my website. So if you want to know more, there is more on that. But I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and go back to view. So really, it's a lot more practical. It's a lot to think about. If you think about growing a business, it really starts with you. It starts with looking within you the areas that you want to develop in order to help people, because very often businesses come to life because people want to help people with anything with a talent that they have, or with something that they want to communicate. And it's not, very often we also have people that are, no, I'm fine just being an employee, and I'm great in just, moving up in my career in my company. But many of us, we either do a side hustle or we do our own business. And we really want to think about, is the business something that reflects who we are, and not just something that fell into our lap? Can we really move people with what we want, what we are offering, and can we move ourselves up the ladder? Because evolution is that what we are here, that's why we are living, and that's what we want to experience. So think about what your foundation is, what you the space that you have in your heart, in your home, and in your office for the thing that you want to bring next to the people. And if it's solid, or if there are any things that that would prevent the smooth progress. And so? And if it's so, what can you do to resolve it now before you go into the fun parts of really working through bringing this thing to life?
Oh, thank you so much. That graphic was really interesting because I was looking at that and I was like, this is what's been going on, and I think it resonated with me, as in like looking at January was all about ego and sort of, I guess, new year and then sort of preparing yourself again, and so I guess this is on everyone's chart, right? So it just follows the circle follows the inside and the outside. Everyone has those.
Yeah, and it's everyone obviously has very different constellations within their chart, but the chart template is always the same because that is the system of growth. It starts with a thing, whether it's a person or something we want to invent, we want to bring to life. It starts with an it, right? And then it goes on to what's the value that we are giving this? What's the worth? What's the priority? What is it worth to us? And what will it be worth to others, right? And then we go, once we have that figured out, then it goes into, okay, so now I have this, how do I communicate it out? So what are the things that I need to learn in order to make it work? And how do I communicate it? Am I able to talk about it easy enough so that others understand it? And then, okay, if that is working, then okay, so now I have to give it a home. And now I can explore, I can play around with it. What can I actually do before it goes into the work mode of actually, now you need to be productive. Now it needs to produce something, right? And is it hard for me to do, or is it easy? Am I gonna, not literally, but it's like figuratively, am I gonna kill myself doing this? Or is it really something that is so productive that it will, that I find it's necessary to move on. And then you go out and share it. Then you find the partnerships, and that's when it becomes interesting, because then you move from your own. That's all your own stuff, right? Once it goes into the partnerships, once you communicate it out, then it's in the open, and then you better be prepared that you have a solid representation. Because in the 8th house, that's when it either lives or falls, right? So that's when you're really, okay, so that's when your own growth happens, because that's when you have the aha effects of, oh my God, I haven't even thought about this. Can your process withstand the outside influence, yes or no? And can you take the influx from the outside? Can you take the critique? Can you take just the help that other want to offer? Can you take it, right? And it's then your own rebirth, basically, to say, yes, I can. Because then that's when you move into the higher learning. That's when you move up in, yes, I get it. And it's really, that's when you start to transform into a higher level, because with the 10th house, like on what's on the very top, that's when your authority becomes so obvious. That's, you grow into that, and so does your business. So does what you're presenting, your product. And then once you're there, you're like, kind of, okay, so that's great, and now I'm here in the open, and it's working in society, and it's working everywhere. And then you start thinking, so what's the next, right? You enjoy this a little bit, and then what's next? And that's when you go almost back to the beginning to say, okay, so let me start thinking again. Let's go inward to realize, now I've done that. Now I've experienced the growth. What's coming next for me? And then you mull on that, and then you find it, and then you start with the one again. So it's really a cycle, and it's not just one that you go the same cycle over and over again, but you elevate, right? And so does your business.
Like this.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a great reference for me, because if I go in my business and I really hit obstacles over and over and over, to go into the cycle and look, where are the causes for that? Where are the connections? that obvious, and you don't have to be an astrologer to do that. It's really it's part of philosophy, it's part of common sense, and it's part of just knowing where to look.
So are you saying is like there could be some misalignment, as in like, because I was looking at the month and I'm thinking, well, yeah, this is funny. Unconsciously, I had made some partnerships in March.
Mm-hmm.
Unconsciously, I'm working on the home right now to actually create a base, a foundation for my next steps. And I know in May I'm going to launch some of these things. It was completely unconscious, but can I say like, yeah, I'm aligned, or if I didn't, you know, follow those steps, that I had to realign myself?
No, cycles happen with different speeds. I'm just saying this in reference to, if I lead a person through a total transformation, then we do it according just, you know, with the year, because it's easy, and I tell you why. There is a thing. I don't know if you ever heard of this. It's the time between the years, and it's basically the no time between Christmas and into New Year's. There are some days. There are 12 days that basically don't exist, because there's a difference between the sun year and the moon year. And I'm not going to go into this whole thing, because that's a whole Christmas celebration, where we really think about our next year, what we want to achieve. And so it's easy to get into these energies. Obviously, we all move onto a different speed. What I'm saying is the sequence of the events is always the same. And if you jump over one of the areas, you will find that when you are, for example, if you're looking for success, right, and you're hustling and I really want this, I really want this, and you come to the success area, but you haven't really thought about the home, people will catch this. So even if you jump over one of the areas, it will catch up with you, that you have to go back and actually really reconsider. And that's what many people do nowadays, because we are living in such a fast-paced world that we sometimes miss out on the steps that a healthy growth has to go through in order to be balanced and in order to be solid. And that comes back to our personal environment, our personal growth. Again, because, you know, I work with a lot of younger people that are, you know, early in their profession, and they chase for titles. They go, oh, I want to be director, and I want to be, you know, this and this. And they may get there, they may get the titles, but as humans, they are just not solid. They're missing the experience, they're missing the charisma, and they're missing the volume as a person, right? And that's what we're experiencing more and more, that we have so many experts that are really no experts, right? And so, and this is really coming back to that being human, being successful.
I agree. Thank you so much, Kerstin.
Yeah, you're welcome.
With that,